everyone, I'm Sophia with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. Humility is a virtue often attributed to the saints, and being truly humble is pretty tough. Even as an introvert, I like to have a little praise thrown my way. After all, we can't help but enjoy having our achievements recognized. Well, most of us. Today's saint, Oengus of Tallaght, spent a large part of his life trying to avoid his growing fame. Though the exact year of his birth isn't known, we know that Oengus was born in the Irish province of Ulster, midway through the 8th century. He spent most of his early life in the monastery of Clonay. The abbot of the monastery was a scholarly man, and Oengus was eager to learn. So eager, in fact, that it wasn't long before none of his peers could hope to compete against the depth of his scriptural knowledge and understanding. As mentioned before, Oengus wasn't the kind of guy who wanted to show off. When he felt called to practice a more ascetic lifestyle, he moved to a hermitage 7 miles away from the monastery, hoping that he wouldn't be observed. His average day included genuflecting 300 times and reciting the entire book of Psalms, among other things. Unfortunately for Oengus, his time in the monastery had earned him a reputation, and before long, his little hideout was discovered. Fed up with the paparazzi, Oengus secretly fled his hermitage and journeyed all the way to Dublin, to the monastery of Tallaght. There, he hid his name and presented himself as a humble vagrant, without any accolades. The abbot, St. Maelruain, took him in and gave him plenty of hard work to do. Oengus worked in this way for 7 years before his identity was discovered by way of miracles. A truant young boy encountered him in a nearby granary while skipping school. Oengus allowed him to remain there a while, and the boy eventually fell asleep in his arms. When he woke, he had received the knowledge of the lesson he had been avoiding. Maelruain, upon discovering the sudden change in the boy, ran to Oengus and embraced him, having realized who he was. The two saints soon became great friends. Oengus was released from the tasks that he had been assigned, and instead started writing a huge poem celebrating saints and their feast days. Kind of like what we're doing here with Awaken the Saint, but way cooler. Oengus stayed at Tallaght and continued writing until St. Maelruain passed away in 792, at which point he finally returned to Clonay, where he was made an abbot. In time, he felt his own life drawing to a close and retreated one final time into solitude to complete his written works. It's believed he died around the year 824, but as is appropriate for someone who often kept to himself, the exact year is still uncertain. St. Oengus wanted to live a quiet life, and he took great pains to get time away from his growing reputation. We can hardly go our whole lives without avoiding everyone, but it might do us good to look to his example occasionally and go on a retreat when we're able. It's always a good thing to set aside quiet time for reflection and prayer. St. Oengus of Tallaght, pray for us.
Thank you for tuning in to Awaken the Saint.